I've evolved as well, and I've sort of adopted this process of using tools and systems and software and spreadsheets, breaking that idea into components. Once you've got a mind mapping tool, and all you're doing at this point is basically doing a brain dump. Hey everyone, welcome back to another podcast where we talk about health, wealth and happiness. My name is Zopi. So this morning I was working in my room and my wife decides to come in and start having a chat about our next holiday. And there was a bunch of ideas floating around, budgets and destinations, when we can take leave and all of this stuff, and we're just talking and it wasn't just going anywhere. And it just occurred to me at the time, I'm going, wow, this is how sort of normal people discuss ideas. So I did this as well, ages ago, but since I've been in, working in IT projects, I've actually started using programs and software to help me with this ideation process, and then put systems in place to actually make the ideas flow from, a working model to getting it done, right? So, and this doesn't come naturally to her, and it's not her fault because she's a pharmacist by profession, and I never had this mentality either. And I've got a really good friend of ours who loves these Excel spreadsheets, and 20 years ago when we used to go on boys trips, he would do the financing and he would basically systematize it, whereas none of the other guys did anything about that. So I've evolved as well, and I've sort of adopted this process of using tools and systems and software and spreadsheets to help me go through this journey of understanding, taking an idea and actually breaking that idea into components, and enjoying the fruits of that idea or labor. So a couple of the tools that I use, I might mention some specific tools, but one of the main tools that if you can get it is like a mind mapping tool. So once you've got a mind mapping tool, and all you're doing at this point is basically doing a brain dump. Put some thought, and then you basically put another thought and another thought, and you start connecting the ideas, and then it becomes a mind map. So there is a bunch of tools out there, and I've gone and used quite a number of them. At the moment, the one that I'm using at the moment is a tool called Scrintle, but there's as I said, there are free versions out there. You can download apps on your phone. So get yourself a mind mapping tool and put all your ideas down on the piece of paper. So if we're talking about this holiday, for example, I would actually talk about, a holiday, family holiday. Then I would need to discuss, what's the budget going to be? Availabilities, destinations, who's coming, how long are we going for, taking leave, what else is there? Visas and passports and so forth. So all of these are, sub ideas of the big idea, which is the holiday that we want to plan. And, if an IT professional is watching this, they'll be like, wow, this is fairly basic stuff. Of course, comes basic to you because you've worked in software projects and so forth. Then what I would do is basically get a project management tool that you can, that has what's known as a Kanban view. So the Kanban view is basically at its core, it's just 3 columns. You've got all the stuff that you need to do, all the stuff that you're doing, and all the stuff you're going to get done, or once it's done, you moved over, and you have a list. So you think about it like a list, and you put all your ideas down, and then or tasks down, and as you do each item, you move them across the table. And as I said, there's 3 columns generally, but you can have multiple columns to suit your needs. So as an example, to manage all of these podcasts, I've been using a software called Blue.cc. It's great, and it works for me because you can have multiple projects, and I've got multiple columns. For example, once I've recorded a video, I end up putting that into the editing bucket. Once that's edited, then we have another bucket for reviewing it and thumbnails and getting it published and breaking it down into snippets, and finally it's done and published. So not just the 3 columns. There are other project management tools like Trello, which you might have heard of, is a very popular one. full-blown project management tools such as Microsoft Project, which is probably overkill for what you'll be using it for. But if you want to go down that path, that's fine as well. There is a marketplace out there called AppSumo, where you can pay a once-off fee, and then you can end up getting that for your lifetime access to that. And what it is a bunch of development companies or startups. They end up putting their project there, and you come in as a beta user. It's not a beta user because they've gone through several times of alpha and beta users, but you've gone through as an early adopter of the software, and that's why you're getting it at a cheap price, and that's lifetime. The downfall is the software company might not be around for a long time, so you are taking a gamble. Majority of the time, they do end up, having reoccurring revenue coming in after that launch period is finished. So the project the software can stand on its 2 feet. Occasionally, it does go under. I would say 1 in 20 projects, maybe a little bit, maybe 1 in 30, 1 in 40. Actually, I might be completely way off, so I might have to look at the statistics and see how many projects have gone under. I mean, over the years, I've probably bought hundreds of pieces of software like this, and thankful for that, I am using them. But there have been a handful of them who've just gone bankrupt or whatever. But it's the price you pay. So check out that marketplace, and you might be able to find yourself a good deal where you and your family can use this as a project management tool. And the first one I mentioned is the ideation tool. So definitely use these tools to enhance your life. Don't try and brainstorm and use pieces of paper, text, and go back and forth. It's chaos. Actually, there's another one called Chaos Control. Chaos Control is a good software as well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy. I hope you get some stuff done. Good luck. Bye.